Power Automate is one of those really open tools, and it's easy to build for yourself, but it can also be an enterprise level tool. And how do you get from personalizing your flows to making sure that they're good enough for enterprises? So a little bit about me. I'm a 2 times Microsoft MVP for Power Automate and Power Apps. Really lucky. It's such a kind of like a nice kudos to have. I've been developing on the Power Platform for 6 years. My background wasn't IT. I was a retail manager and did operations, and I got into the Power Platform, particularly Power Automate, to make my life easier in my role. And that's one of the reasons I'm a big evangelist of low code and citizen development. I think these tools are fantastic for enabling people who might not have the technical or qualifications to do it, but have the right skill set. So I love having these tools available and sharing them with the people. I'm an avid blogger, about 150 blogs. I love writing about the Power Platform, sharing what I know. I also do a little bit of Power Platform white hacking. What does that mean? It means I kind of look for potential vulnerabilities in the Power Platform. It's a very safe platform, but there's still obviously potential weaknesses. I've had 2 security exceptions accepted by Microsoft. Last year, if you remember, when you couldn't rerun flows that were triggered by somebody else, that kind of setting came in. That was me with one of my vulnerabilities that I identified. So sorry about that. And the last thing I do is I develop some kind of dev tools to make developing on the Power Platform easier. These tools that started off just to help me, but then I share with others to try and make their development easy. So with such a low barrier to entry, and that barrier is getting lower and lower with AI, it's really easy for you as a developer just to open up Power Automate and just build. The UI is super friendly, it's drag and drop, it's got drop downs. It basically sets the stall up so anybody can build quickly and add value to their day. The problem with that philosophy is it sets you on kind of a little bit of a path of potential bad habits, because we build for ourselves and we're not thinking about the enterprise or kind of wider solutions. And it's really easy to forget that Power Automate and the rest of the Power Platform, it delivers millions of dollars of savings for hundreds of thousands of companies. It's built on top of Logic Apps, which is an enterprise tool, and it can be in all aspects an enterprise solution. We start with solutions for ourselves, but they quickly grow and we quickly do more and more. And before we know it, we're actually kind of building out these enterprise tools without necessarily thinking about enterprise in our solutions. And that means we have to look at 2 really important factors that we don't necessarily look at for personal solutions, and it's stability and scalability. We have to think about our solutions that are stable and scalable. And stable is a broad term. It might mean that our flow runs consistently, but it also means that our flow can be maintained by somebody else. It might mean that the flow doesn't impact other systems, and it might mean that it's in a way that it can be moved or changed. And scalable is also similar in that aspect. It's quite a broad term. Can it grow? Can it improve over time? Will it adapt? Will it allow more developers to build new functionality on top of that? And these are things that aren't necessarily at the forefront of our mind when we're building our first solution. We're looking at that piece of value, but they need to be in our mind if we want to move this from a personal solution to an enterprise solution. And that's the 2 things I want to talk to you about today, is how we do that. And there's the two principles I work on, which is design, then build, and then we build to scale. And that's kind of the key philosophy that we separate. We shouldn't just build. We need to design first, and then we build. And when we're building, we're not just building for this particular solution for us. We're building it in a mind that it can scale and grow. And that can add over kind of like weight to our development time, but it's an investment that drives and makes the solution more enterprise ready.